Hello, I'm Toycat, and one of the simplest things that is also one of the most terrifying things can be highways. Freeways, motorways, whatever you want to call them, super fast roads where there are limited access and exit points are very terrifying for a lot of people, but they're actually one of the smartest things in the car infrastructure world, and they're one of the simplest things, and I wanted to show you just how simple they are today by going into it, because explaining simple things on the internet is something someone needs to do, and honestly, it's something I figured I would try today. So you're going to have a forward view this entire time. You're attached to my windscreen. I've got a very tiny Fiat 500 here in the US. By comparison to every other car on the road, it's minuscule. But I wanted to show you going on the highway, actually a highway not that far from me, because, in fact, I'm going to be taking two highways today. They're going to be Interstate 15 and Interstate 215, I believe. And I wanted to show you something because it can be really scary, like especially with like directions of like, oh god, when do I get on, when do I get off? When you're fresh at driving, these are some of the scariest things. But honestly, they don't need to be. They seem very scary, and in reality are not very much that. I can't see anything to the right of me because there's a big old lorry there. Okay, so if he's turning left, that means there must be space for me to at least get in the middle here. Okay, we're good. Maybe that was wrong. Anyway, so let me show you the access to the highway first, because you got to take some roads to get there. You'll actually see something interesting that I see in America a lot, but you'll see this in road signs everywhere, are basically signs telling you how to get to the highway. They know that is the main access and exit point for a lot of areas, because if you want to get from here, there is the Rio Casino over there. I'm about to cross into Flamingo. If you're in the Flamingo area and you need to get down to the airport, let's say, you could drive there on local roads, but the fastest way most people will actually do it is using the highway. It really does remind me a lot of train stops, or especially tube stops in London, because you're doing something where there is a fastest form of transport that kind of trumps the local equivalent you would otherwise be using. So yeah, you'll often see signs telling you where the highway is, but if you don't know, I don't know, GPS, and even if you don't have GPS, if you just vibe over to the area and then look for an on-ramp, that might work for you too. I'd recommend following a sign or a GPS, but it's one of those things where you can just kind of go anywhere, follow the rules for nice normal roads. It's funny because these roads, like what I'm on right now, are to most people the safest and easiest. Like, again, they come up on the test way more often, and that's what people are used to. But I think it's interesting because these are the roads that kind of scare me. They have the most variability, whereas highways all around the world, all across various countries, but especially within any given countries, are incredibly standardized. So this is the interstate network. It's not just the same in every state, it's the same across the union. There might be some weird cases where you pay for tolls in some places, but the width is the same, and you saw that sign there, by the way, saying I-15 South. So we go this way, you see there's a 10-mile-per-hour sign, and now you know I-15 South is right here. If I just make a short right turn, okay, it really feels like the car's gonna roll over. That's like the most cambered bit of road I've ever seen. But yeah, then you go down an on-ramp, and it's recommended you go down these at, you kind of pick up highway speed. So instead of having to go from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds, you go from 0 to 60 over the length of one of these ramps, and then you go through, oh yeah, this is a little spicy here, and then you find yourself on a highway. Wow, look at that. And yeah, there's this thing called a slip road. I actually don't know what the American term for it would be, but this is a road where you join the highway. It's kind of it's considered like a dick move by a lot of people to use the length of one of these. Maybe instead you should be trying to get on the highway as fast as you can. But instead I'm going to be going all the way to the end of this until it tells me, you can see that sign there is saying, merge into the left when you can. And so whenever there is an opportunity, this is, again, I probably left this a bit late, but when there's an opportunity, I'm going to try and just slide in here somewhere. Maybe, yeah, you just behind this car on my left. If someone doesn't let you in, you just don't come in. You just wait till the next car. A lot of people are terrified, like, oh, what if he tries to kill me? Most people aren't trying to kill other people. Some people get over-assertive, but you just don't do it. And now this is a highway, right? I'm on a highway, I'm going 30 miles per hour. In reality, in big cities, anywhere in the world, especially if it's busy times, it's 11 AM on a Tuesday, so not a busy time. But if you're in a big city, a congested city especially, you will go, 20, 30 miles per hour. And it's just like a normal road, but there's no traffic lights. There's nothing like that. And that is what makes the highway genius. It's called controlled access. The thing that actually defines a highway or a motorway. Also, it looks like they're widening this one. Jesus, is it not big enough already, guys? But anyway, so, I mean, it's only 5 lanes across, to be fair. It's only 4 lanes across. Wow, I thought this was America. But, yeah, the interesting thing here is that obviously you can only get on and off at control points, which means there are no traffic lights. Going 30 miles per hour is slower than that road I was just on, with the key exception being you saw me stopped at a traffic light for 30 seconds. Going at constant speed is better for you, and it's better for the environment. Also, you can see a sign up there saying Russell Road, but also 215 West. I'm not going to 215 West, I'm going to 215 East, and so I'm not going to go that way. Actually, wait, is it East? Yeah, I'm going to 215 East, and so I wouldn't exit there. But all you have to do when you're on the highway is go forwards, don't let anything crash into you when someone merges in front or behind of you, follow the speed limit, or don't, honestly. I'm going 65 right now, the speed limit on this one. In America, that seems to be an option, which is fine. And then once you've done that, you've just got to exit following signs like these ones on the right. So I know that I'm going to 215 East. Yeah, I'm going 215 East. So I just have to look above for a sign that says 215 East, and then I need to leave the highway at that point. If I knew that was going to be a really long time from now, I'd merge over to the left a few more lanes. You know, I'd go closer towards the center. These are colloquially called the fast lane. But, you know, basically, like, you will go slower when you're about to exit the highway, so you'll be further towards where the exits are. When you don't exit for a while, you can have a more consistent, higher speed. In reality, everyone's going the speed limit, even in the slow lanes, and the fast lanes are just how much over the speed limit do you feel like going. But yeah, it's really simple. You stay in a lane, there's a bunch of lanes. The left lanes are for overtaking. In America, that's not as strictly true. It depends on your state as to whether that's legally required, but it's good practice even in places where it's not, to stay to the left if you're going to overtake someone, and if you're going to be overtaken by someone, move over to the right if there is space to do so. Because again, there's only so much space left, right? Whereas there's, you know, you can make more space left by moving to the right. And so, yeah, you just stay on the highway, and it's real easy. And now I have to be here to go to 215 East. So there's a whole brand new highway I need to go on for this journey. I'm going to Windmill Lane. I heard there were lobster rolls there. This sounds like a joke, but it's not. And so now you can see, right lane is exit only. This lane is exit choice. It wasn't exit only, so I can pick to leave. I'll indicate because it is a choice. I don't know if that's required. I'm just gonna try and be polite here. And now look at that. I'm leaving the highway. At this point, usually you'd enter a surface street, but because I'm going to another highway, that highway is also going to be 65 miles per hour. I can pick that speed. If I see a sign telling me otherwise, you can choose to use that. But it's just, I am now on a highway connector. There are two highways that are, you know, parallel, perpendicular to each other. And so now I just have to follow signs and make sure I always follow the one that says 215 East. In reality, connecting two highways, especially if they're busy highways individually, will always have multiple lanes, and it'll always be the default option. You shouldn't have to think much to be able to do this. So again, we're doing some scary, I was in my mind I was going to say undertaking, but I guess we're in America. Just kind of vibing out here, doing everything totally okay. And yeah, now look at that. I'm just about to now join the second highway like I did the first time. Are you really leaving a highway and joining another one, or is this a way to combine the two highways into a mega one? I don't know the answer to that question, but you don't need to think about it. Now I'm on a different highway that can link me all the way from, I don't know, like, I want to say Summerlin down to Henderson and Boulder City. It's, you know, like I am now on a different highway, and I'll be on this one for I think like 5 miles or so. So we could, you know, is 5 miles enough to go left? Depends how fast you feel like going. You can see this one's a lot busier than the other one. There's 5 full lanes, and they're all very busy. But you can see if you pay attention on the left, people are going slightly faster than the right. Again, in America, this isn't always true. It's not a legal requirement here. It's just politeness. I guess it's not really a legal requirement in the UK too. But it is less of a common thing in big cities here because so many people are exiting. You can see the 5 lanes became 4 because an exit lane appeared, and then also one of them's going towards the airport. And maybe the same happens at Warm Springs Road. But yeah, I'm going to Windmill Lane. You can see there's a sign on the left saying it's 2 miles away, and it's real easy. I know I'm going from where I was to Windmill Lane, and rather than going down a bunch of surface streets, stopping at lights, you go down the highway. It's a weird, counterintuitive fact that highways are the most, you know, they're the fastest, also most efficient way, because your stopping and starting is where gas is used the most. So you're going a lot faster, and somehow that is saving you a lot more fuel. But it's the fact of, at the very least, American driving. So obviously, has to be mentioned somewhere in this video, because, you know, I think a lot of people just hate highways blindly, but a lot of people love highways blindly too, so I have to mention that, like, yeah, this is an ecological disaster. Look at the size of this space here, dedicated just for cars to go left and right. this could be like functional city. There could be a lobster roll truck over there. Man, I have to lean real far forward to show you my thing there. But there could be all these things here, but there's not. And so, yeah, obviously, there's a little more space, by the way. But I am leaving soon, so I could pick either stay in my lane, or I could roll to the right, get closer to my exit, or I can roll to the left and overtake this car, which is going a little bit too slow in front of me. You know, I have these choices available to me. But yeah, like obviously look at the space here that is taken up by a highway, but it is okay, so I'm leaving half a mile, so now I need to be in the last 2 lanes. Same thing here, it says exit only on the right, and then it's a green arrow on the left. That means this lane is an exit lane, but I'm going to be able to choose, whereas if I'm in this lane, crossing I think illegally over 2 white dotted lines, I don't know for sure. But if you look over here, you can see this is an exit only lane. I can't choose not to exit anymore because my lane will force me out. So you don't even need to indicate here because there's solid white lines. You legally cannot do anything but leave here. And then I don't know if I'm going Wimble Lane east or west. I'm going to guess it's east though. And then wow, I've left the freeway. Do you see that? I went a solid, ooh, okay. See how easy it is? I've left the freeway and now I'm back on surface streets. It really is that simple. And it's, again, it's one of those things, I feel like if you are American, you can look at this and be like, yes, I know. But even as like a passenger, I never really thought about why highways exist and what they do and what they don't. It's effectively by having controlled access, by having people only able to enter and exit at high speed, so everyone is always going, theoretically, the max speed that they can be, you have a lot more effectiveness. And you have a lot better traffic flow. In reality, if traffic designers could, if people who love cars were in charge everywhere, then I think what would happen is, if they were in control, let's say, I don't know if I went out the right lane there. See those lane markings here are a bit confusing when you're making left turns, but whatever, probably did fine. So in reality, if traffic designers could, everywhere would be a highway. If you look at this street right here, this is just called an arterial road in American planning standards. It's maybe the equivalent of an A road in the UK. You can see they've made it as efficient for cars as possible, and you'll also see how even though traffic lights you'd expect like half the time should be red, half the time should be green, they give deliberate greens to people on these major roads. At higher percentages, basically trying to ensure that you can flow like a highway as much as you can, while still having, houses on the left and businesses on the right. Oh yeah, almost like this lobster roll truck we're gonna get today. Oh yeah, this video was all worthwhile. I didn't want to talk about highways, but the thing about highways is they're very, very expensive to build. They're very bad for environments. They're bad, like not just in terms of like, I don't know, ecological. Is this where I should have turned? I think it is. So I'm gonna get in this lane here, and I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, I can just come in here. It's fine. In reality, it has huge costs. I mean, not only do you have to lay this much asphalt everywhere, but also you then have to. It makes it really terrible for everyone else. And also locally, there's a lot more emissions when you're traveling at 60 than when you're traveling at 30. There's better emissions in terms of like when you're flowing versus not flowing, but they're basically, highways are this like fun thing that are really good for people not nearby it because they can use it to get where they need to go, but they're really terrible for people who are nearby it. So somewhere around here, there is meant to be a lobster roll truck. It is moving every day, and I've just tracked it down to being this one on Windmill Lane. I've been to this place before. Man, it's depressing when you've been to a random these things are called strip malls in American parlance, or a plaza if you want to be fancy. When you picture plaza as a European, you're not picturing this, but this is the American plaza. Learn to respect culture. And so yeah, in reality, there's all these downsides to building highways. They're very expensive as well, but oh, there we go, I found it. Okay. You can't see it yet because you're facing forwards. So I don't even really need to indicate. I'm just trying to let this guy know I'm going to come past him. Please don't kill me with your massive monster truck. Again, I love driving tiny cars in America. It will kill me one day, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy doing it. There we go, Cousins Maine's Lobster. Can you see it? I'm gonna have to like literally point you at it. There we go. Do you see that? Maine's Lobster. I could drive right into it and a bunch of lobsters would fall out. But this isn't a video game, and so instead what I'll do is I'll park. Wait, I want to park looking at it. I want to look at the menu with you, internet. If you can come with me on a freeway, you can come look at a lobster roll menu with me. I have no idea, so this place is a moving food truck. I have no idea if food trucks are just allowed to be in people's parking lots here, or if they have to get permission. Okay, let's look at the menu together. Okay, here we go, perfect. Okay, so, oh yeah, they're on the History Channel, which, you know, that's where I take my food advice from. They've been on Shark Tank. They've been on TMZ Men's Health. You know, TMZ, like, that's got to be two separate publications, right? But then why would TMZ care? Anyway, you know what? I hope this video was useful to you in some way. This whole journey took 15 minutes. Jesus Christ. I'm miles away from where I started because I was with the magic of infrastructure built for cars getting places. If you want to see my car, by the way, it is. Again, I love these things. They're so tiny. They're perfect for when you need to get a person somewhere quickly, and when they need to eat lobster rolls. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to eat a delicious lobster roll now, and have a good day. Unless you don't want to, in which case, third channel, don't care. Goodbye.